This is Johnny's group, our second book talk, talking about Naomi's Road and a child in prison camp. Today, Kyra is our discussion director and passage picker. Kyra's going first.
So, discussion director. Okay, my first question is, how would you feel if you had to leave your father behind at home and move with your babysitter to a new camp?
Well, I would feel somewhat abandoned because I would feel that, like, my father left me. And to be 4 years old and for that to happen to you, and you don't know when your father's coming back, that would be hurtful and hard.
But you have to remember that her father is sick and in the hospital. I'm pretty sure. Her father is sick, right? Yeah. Her father's sick.
Yeah, okay. I agree with Johnny. I would feel kind of abandoned, but not really.
I'd feel
like
you still have someone there.
If you're only 4 years old, you don't know, so you could feel abandoned. But it would still be hard because it's not your parents; it's just your babysitter.
Yeah.
And your babysitter isn't the one who raised you.
Mm-hmm.
Your babysitter was only there when you needed to be watched.
Yeah.
So it would be very different.
Mm-hmm.
I'd still feel as if someone's there for me too, though.
No, I wouldn't, though, because
Well, she's 4 and doesn't know what's going on, too, so...
It would be...
Well, she is 4. And,
as long as someone's there
like
for
me,
you.
I was smart when I was 4, so she could... Hey, it's not funny. I was smart when I was 4. So, yeah. Well, she could have... she could... Obviously, she would know if something's wrong. You can't assume a child is stupid just because they're
young.
They're young.
You don't really remember stuff when you're 4.
I did. I started remembering when I was 3.
Okay. Second question.
That's what I thought.
Do you think all this on covered Naomi's face from the mosquitoes, or because she didn't want to watch her grandma burn?
Well, I think it's because she didn't want... Well, for her to... well, not to let her watch her grandma burn. God.
Well, yeah, I think it's to not watch her grandma burn.
Me too. I think it's
No, but mostly for her grandma burn. That's something horrific you wouldn't want to watch. Even as an adult.
But then again, the little brother went up with I think she went with the coffin thingy with another man. So why would she let the little boy go?
Because the boy's older, and since guys are more, I guess, unsensitive. Isn't he a year older?
Well, then he would be 5.
No, he was 7, I think.
Yeah, I think he's
7.
7.
At 7 years old,
7,
guys, they're
if
not
I were
that
a parent,
really
I wouldn't let my
sensitive.
7-year-old son.
I'd so let my 7-year-old son watch bad things he's not supposed
You're Johnny.
to. Well, exactly. We'll carry the tradition.
But also back then, guys were used for work.
Slaves. The bread maker.
So,
and stuff.
Yeah. And a 4-year-old, that would be horrific to see.
Well, yeah, I know.
Same
for a 7-year-old too.
Well, not exactly for a 7-year-old boy. A 4-year-old girl, yes. You see, my little sister, she's 7, and she's still afraid to pee by herself. She's afraid of her own pee, sadly.
That's nice to know.
Okay.
I know, isn't it?
Okay. So for my passage, for my passage picker, in chapter 4, page 32, paragraph 1 to 2, it says, "We turn our heads toward the snow-covered mountains. Way below from the bridge, we can see the gray water of the river, swollen and angry as it rushes away around the bend with a great, loud roar. The church bells ring in the distance, clear and distinct, telling us to hasten. The mountains, the snow-covered firs, and pine trees listen. We turn and hurry towards the sound of silvery bells. All seems like a dream, the snow, the bells, our silent steps on the white winter carpet. As we hurry, I think of our Lord being born on this day in a strange land on such a winter like this." I like this paragraph because there was very powerful wording, and when I read this, I felt as if I was there with her. Can I have my page back?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
I like that. It's
yeah.
very descriptive, and it kind of gives like the reader a mental picture in their mind.
It's very,
of what
it's
it would
actually,
look
like, important to do that in a book.
It is.
I mean, like, if you don't do that in a book, then
Why
what's the
read
point
it?
of having it?
It's true.
Well, yeah, they what's it called, Susan Collins in the Hunger Games. That is
Yes.
one of the most descriptive books I've ever read, and like
Yeah.
it's like you're basically
I mean,
And
in the
Divergent,
book.
too.
Yeah,
It's
I like
just-
Divergent too.
it's just
Except
you
the Hunger
wanna know.
Games won me. The Hunger Games won me over.
When you're hurt.
I won my
Okay,
heart.
guys,
The
let's get back
second
on
book.
topic.
Oh my
Back,
God.
back on top.
Back on
Becky,
topic.
look at her.
Okay. Johnny?
And now this is Marie, our vocabulary enricher.
Okay. So, this is in A Child in Prison Camp, all of it. So, on page 46, it says, it's mostly racial prejudice and jealousy. So, prejudice means an opinion, often unfavorable, formed without a fair examination of the facts. Example, like an injury or harm resulting from hasty or unfair judgments. So, if I were to put it in my own words, I would probably say it's mostly racial judgments and jealousy. It's like they're against them because of their race.
I never really understood what that meant either.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's one. So, on page 48, it says, she puts it by the window for the sun to leaven it. Leaven is yeast or other substances to make bread rise, which I didn't know. So, if I were to put it in my own words, I would say, she put it by the window for the sun to rise the bread. So, yeah. And then, on page 54, it says, it is vulgar. And, yeah, I really didn't know what that one was.
Me either.
I actually know somewhat, like in Spanish, vulgar. That's kind of like, I don't know, somewhat. It's offensive, bad. It's just basically bad.
Yeah. I have, like, showing bad taste, rude, or coarse. Like a vulgar person or joke.
Yeah, that's,
So,
yeah.
So it's just
Same
yeah.
thing,
negative.
actually.
I would probably just say, like, it is rude.
I'd say like negative.
Yeah. Or, yeah,
It's like a mixture
coarse,
of all,
rude.
like, the bad things. Like,
Yeah.
like if you were to call someone a bad thing, it's like
Yeah.
vulgar, you would call it vulgar.
Mm-hmm.
In Spanish, it would be vulgar.
So, then my last one is on page 61, and it says, so during the night, I often find myself standing under the great vast sky. So, vast means like very great in size or an extent amount. So, to make it easier, I would probably just say, so during the night, I often find myself standing under the great big sky. To make it simple.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's my job.
Okay, well, next is Johnny, our connector and social justice seeker. I'm Johnny. And for the connections, my first one was about war. I've actually always had a thing for war with all my war games and stuff like that. But I kind of remember the first time I found out about war. I was about 5. And just like Naomi, she was clueless when she was asking her dad what war was. And I remember asking my mom what war was, and she told me, but she didn't tell me everything fully. She just told me that it was bad and that people shouldn't do it. But there was more of a meaning behind it, because a child like that shouldn't know really what war is because of their innocence and how young they are, so it wouldn't be good for them.
Yeah.
My second one was from A Child in Prison Camp, when a man was fighting with his wife. It's kind of a scary thing to witness that. But not exactly fighting, but they were arguing in a way.
Yeah.
I know this is kind of deep, but I remember when my parents were just like fighting and they like split up. Like that's when they were upstairs. So I was like in grade 6, so I had no idea what was going on. So me and my sister are downstairs are playing like on the Wii and stuff. And so all we hear is like stomping and everything and yelling. So we go upstairs and pretend to go to the bathroom and like sneak to see what they were talking about. And so they kind of like opened the door, and so we kind of like ran downstairs. Yeah, it was yeah.
Scary.
Like personally, I don't know about people getting divorced because my parents aren't. But like I have friends, like Kira.
It is kind of scary, but then you kind of get used to it after like a month.
I mean, like my parents fight, but they don't really fight. It's more like argue to, because it's better to get it out than have it like
up inside and then like have something drastic like a divorce
even
and stuff
though
like that.
even though you don't like it when they fight, it's
something
good
you can't
happen.
change.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, like I was saying, it's kind of scary to witness as a child and stuff like that. Also, when people argue, it usually follows with something bad, and which in this case it did, like with what happened and stuff.
Okay, next one.
My last connection was from Naomi's Road, and it's when Stefan went into the music room, and he was playing angry piano music. Well, you can tell a lot about what someone's feeling or like